Hello, folks. So today I wanted to discuss an important transit. To those who have subscribed, a big thank you. And if you have not yet done so, please take a moment, hit that red icon on that right hand side. Yeah, let's get started. All right, so today we will look at Saturn's movement into PurvaBhadraPada Nakshatra. Saturn moves into PurvaBhadra Nakshatra on April the 6th, stays there till October the 4th, 2024, so approximately 6 months. And then again from December 26th, 2024, till March 29th, 2025. And then from March 30th till April 28th as well, but that's going to be in the Pisces portion, right? Once again, it returns to PurvaBhadra Nakshatra in the Pisces portion next year on October the 4th, 2025, till January the 20th, 2026. So as you can see, it's sort of a choppy movement, this particular Saturn transit. Yeah, it's going back and forth. It's around 13 months in total, which is the typical time Saturn spends in a nakshatra. The only difference is that there's a lot of back and forth because of the retrograde phases, right? We always, of course, see the aspects to determine the impact of a transit anyway. And Saturn, of course, irrespective of what nakshatra it's in, it's going to have that normal 7th aspect, which, by the way, is not the strongest aspect. Saturn's more powerful aspects are the 3rd and the 10th, especially the 10th, due to the fact that Saturn is Gark of the 10th house. So this is where we see that difficult karma manifesting in our lives. Yeah. But because Saturn is so well placed in Aquarius, whatever is to transpire, you will look back on it years from now and understand that it's actually very beneficial for you. So Scorpio is where the field of energy, like it's where all of the energy is going actually, because Saturn is aspecting Scorpio. From May the 1st, Jupiter is aspecting Scorpio. Rahu is aspecting Scorpio from Pisces, right? So see what Scorpio signifies for you. This is the place that you will have to surrender somewhat, and this is where a lot of the changes will happen this year for you. Are they going to be positive or negative? See where Saturn's nakshatra, the transit, falls from your moon nakshatra to get a hint. Essentially, during this transit, Saturn will continue to aspect Leo, Scorpio, as well as Aries. From March 30th, 2025, from its position in Pisces, Saturn joins Rahu there for a little while, because Rahu then moves on to Aquarius. And then it will aspect Virgo, Taurus, and Sagittarius. For this video today, firstly, I want to speak about PurvaBhadra, and then we'll get more into Saturn's transit. PurvaBhadra is associated with the deity Awaken, which is very fierce energy. It's very fierce. Shiva is that Rudra. It's that Rudra energy. This deity is believed to be a one-footed goat, symbolizing its connection to sacrifice, symbolizing its connection to transformation. Awaken can help us transcend limits. So you have to be pretty tough to handle this transit, especially if you are in a Jupiter or a Saturn dasha. Why do I say Jupiter? Because PurvaBhadra's controlling planet is Jupiter. Now, as I mentioned, a controlling planet is something that we look at when we see how it's impacting you, depending on the dashas that you're going through, right? But when it comes to the quality of that particular nakshatra, like what it symbolizes and what kind of events can transpire there. We have to pay more attention to the deity that rules it, right? So Ajayapada can, as I said, help us transcend limits that we face from the external world. It's connected to the story about Daksha, who had abused his son-in-law, Shiva, which led to Sati to immolate herself. Like that's, when she went into the fire and burnt herself. Eventually, of course, Daksha became a devotee of Shiva. So it's a fierce nakshatra where penance, where sacrifice become important. It's that idea of when you just surrender and when you don't expect to receive anything, and then all of a sudden you get everything you ever wanted. It can play out like that. Yeah. So you're going to face struggle before achieving success. You can also meet people that are double-faced at this time because of the association with the double, like the two-headed man, right? So it's best not to jump to conclusions about people that you meet. There can be some difficulty in expressing emotions at this time. There's a feeling of detachment, feeling of aloofness at this time. Saturn here will also force us to get grounded in some aspect of life. So see its rulership in your chart to understand where you will be impacted. If you thought about cultivating any good habits, circumstances now will force you to do that. Like early waking up, healthier diet, right? You could experience some health issue that will force you to do that. Spiritual practices, yoga practices, that sort of thing. It's a good transit, actually, for any research-related activities. Digging deeper into astrology. Taking calculated risks in business. Good time to turn vegetarian. Actually, excellent time to turn vegetarian. If you ever thought about adopting an animal, it's a good time for that also. It's a time to actually look after the basics of your life and place an emphasis on becoming grounded. It's not as like with Shatabisha when it was transiting there. That's more of a social, you feel more like you want to connect with others. This is a little bit where you may not want to do that. If you do embrace a simplistic lifestyle, or if you have a simplistic lifestyle, you can see some positive effects at this time. And you can also see the bigger picture in your life, what you want out of your life. Watch for issues related to feet, to legs. Look after your mental health. Because at this time you can feel like you can overthink, you can feel a lot of doubts. Ajayapada, the ruling deity, is one of the 11 Rudras, who has one body with twin heads. And it's also referred to sometimes as the twin-headed dragon. So Rudra, being a fierce form of Shiva, brings end to something in order to transform it into something new. So this may happen without some warning. There's a suddenness to this energy. And when, when is it sort of susceptible to play out? Well, usually during eclipses, right? So sudden endings, sudden beginnings, sudden losses, sudden changes, but also sudden spiritual progress. Your life will be compelled by circumstance or a life change for big progress. But this is going to come with some discomforts. There's going to be a push to get out of your comfort zone. Letting go in order to escalate to a new level, right? That's what we normally have to do. Sometimes we have to take 2 steps back and then 5 steps forward, like that sort of thing. Ajayapada pushes us towards spiritual progress by destroying our illusions. It destroys the hypocrisy in the mind. And the animal connected to this is the male lion, which is related to Narasimha, who manifested himself out of the pillar of light to destroy the duality. The duality that we're like, that's what life is, right? And then Vishnu manifested from this form. So you see the capacity for spiritual progress is immense, obviously. But who's going to want to go there, right? Most of us know. Most of us will not. But I think if you know like what it is, you can surrender a little bit. Similarly, PurvaBhadra holds the power to inspire us through intense life events. So we can notice this divine unity, the single divine consciousness manifesting itself through various life events. Right? Favorable activities can be speaking activities, lectures, risk-taking, doing something unorthodox, out of the box, mechanical or technological activities, letting go of the past, especially related to any occurrences of death of loved ones. This can help you let go once and for all. Yeah? Water activities, completion of activity. PurvaBhadra spans from 20 degrees of Aquarius till 3.2 degrees of Pisces. Saturn will start its transit in Pada 1 of PurvaBhadraPada in the Navamsha of Aries. On April 6th, when Saturn enters, it goes into the Navamsha of Aries. Here you may need to exercise some patience. Learn to control your emotions. Learn to diffuse some of that emotional energy to achieve your goals. In the beginning of the transit, Saturn is with Mars, which may result in blocks. In D9, similarly, Saturn has to take a backseat to the Mars impulse, right? Because it's getting debilitated in the sign of Aries. Which is actually not like, it depends. I mean, if Saturn is a difficult planet for you, right? Like if you are Cancer, Leo, Scorpio, Aries, for example, Sagittarius. I mean, it is a difficult planet. So when it is weakened a little bit, that actually is favorable for you. At this time, when the start of the transit, actually, when it's in the D9, when it's in the Navamsha of Aries, you may have to practice humility with career matters. If you work with your father, or you're in a family business, you can face some frustrations also at this time. If you're a speaker or a writer or a teacher, or somebody who inspires others through your work, then this is actually quite a good phase for you. By April the 23rd, Mars moves on and the situation improves, especially in career life. And it's interesting because that's around the time when Mars and Saturn conjunction, that's when Mars moves into Pisces, right? May the 12th, wherever you faced setbacks and frustrations, on May the 12th, you will see a reversal in your favor. Saturn moves into Pada 2 of PurvaBhadra on May the 12th. This is dominated by Venus, and you can feel energized now. It's a good time for wealth matters, especially with Jupiter now well placed in Taurus also. Excellent time to study occult subjects. It's an excellent time for career and money matters. A great time for financial transactions of all types, as well as managing money, managing wealth. Good time for making long-term commitments in love, in business. Because Saturn goes retrograde on June the 30th, this auspicious transit lasts longer. So from May 12th till August 19th, Saturn stays in Pada 2. It's excellent phase, those 3 months. Yeah. Then it returns to Pada 1 from August 19th till October the 4th. So you may feel a little bit anxious and thus take action without all of the information. So be aware of that. We also have 2 eclipses, right, during this phase. August 19th till October 4th, which may bring some surprises. Yeah. Then Saturn goes back into Shatabisha on October the 4th and into the Navamsha of Pisces, which is a good transit for Saturn. Here there's a Nakshatra exchange with Rahu. So wherever Aquarius and Pisces fall in your chart, this is where you can see some sudden positive developments at this time. Yeah. And actually, it would be a long-awaited cherished goal that you would achieve at this time, October 4th onward, when it goes back into Shatabisha. Saturn moves direct on November 15th and remains in Shatabisha in the Navamsha of Pisces till December the 27th. So another long transit, around 12 weeks. An excellent phase, again, October 4th till December 27th. It returns to PurvaBhadra on December 27th, forms a conjunction with Venus a day later. In the Navamsha, it is now again in Aries across from Venus. So we know that relationships are going to be in focus now, right? You can either leave behind a relationship that was not working, or you can solidify one into like a long-term commitment. Venus is in dignity now, so get a hint of how it will play out. You're going to have to see your dasha sequence to understand that. On February the 2nd, 2025, Saturn returns to Pada 2 in the Navamsha of Venus and stays till March the 3rd. At this time, we also have the exact conjunction of Venus and Rahu, and this can bring some pleasant surprises in relationships. If you had lost hope in a relationship, it can suddenly reignite and lead to a wishful culmination. Or you can meet someone in an unexpected, fated way, and it can be a very magnetic attraction. If this is the case, it's best to get to know the person, of course. This is a quick 1-month transit, and Venus remains in Pisces. It's likely that you'll return to a love interest, as Venus will go retrograde also at this time. From March the 3rd till March the 29th, Saturn will be in Pada 3. It zips through this Pada, which falls in the Navamsha of Gemini, ruled by Mercury. During this brief stint, we experienced 2 eclipses. In fact, the last day of Saturn's transit through Pada 3 on March the 29th, 2025, next year, there is a new moon solar eclipse with a massive conjunction in Pisces. We have Rahu, Venus, Mercury, as well as the Sun and Moon in Pisces at this time. Saturn here is pivotal as it is just about to enter Pisces. During the eclipse, Saturn is the only planet outside the nodal axis, breaking the Gal-Sarp Yoga also at this time. So we're going to address this very interesting eclipse when we get closer to the date. We again have the exact conjunction of Rahu and Venus in Pisces as we did on February the 2nd. So we know relationship matters are getting a shakeup at this time. It could be adjusting. It could be adjusting to new relationship, right? You may have to make some life changes because of a relationship, for example. I see that happening. Both Mercury and Venus are retrograde. So this short transit through Pada 3, a lot can happen in your life. Certainly there will be a big shake-up in relationship matters, but also the grand culmination of an ongoing chapter in your life. See where Pisces falls in your chart. You'll understand where and how you will be impacted. Right? Maybe you've been living a certain way, or maybe your relationship has been going a certain way for many, many years, or many, many months, whatever it is. And now there's a new chapter starting in that relationship. Again, see what dasha you're into. Pada 3 is where communications become important, but with a stellium in Pisces, communication will be more intuitive, more emotional, rather than logical. Dreams will be prophetic. Communications will be telepathic with others, especially those that you have perhaps disconnected with in some way. A good remedy would be to switch off at this time. Take a retreat. Go into silence if you're feeling out of sorts or there's some confusion in your life. A foreign trip could resolve now. Or if you were looking to move abroad, then this can also happen at this eclipse from mid-March till mid-April 2025. Yeah, the end of this Saturn transit will be Pada 4 from March 29th till April the 28th. So it's a month-long transit. And for most of this transit, Saturn is close to both Rahu and Venus. Highly afflicted Venus, though in exaltation, can mean feeling pressurized in relationships. I think women can especially feel this at this time. Bhadra 4 is dominated by the moon and lies in the Namasha of Cancer, which means pressure could be connected with some big changes in your domestic life also at this time, right? From that March 29th till April 28th, that 1 month. So you could be spending a lot on home-related items, for example, or there's some shift in your domestic life maybe. Saturn's movement and transit impact us more dramatically than any other planet. Why? Because it's the slowest moving planet. It's also the furthest away from the sun, which means that like the energy is very subtle and therefore it impacts us more. Only nodal transit can affect us with the same intensity. Saturn signifies setbacks, delays, restrictions, endings. Ultimately, we have to we have to learn to accept these. And not just accept the limits, but also accept our own fears and doubts, whatever they are. Be okay with it. Develop patience for yourself before you develop patience for other people. Yeah, I often find that it's easier to be patient with others when you are patient with yourself, and when you are more accepting of yourself. Now, there is a theory that because, like, when Saturn is in Aquarius, it moved through code, its comfort zone. So even if it gives sorrow, the karmic impact will be less. I don't necessarily follow that dictum. I mean, I think it depends really more on the dasha that you're going through, how you'll feel the impact. Here we're talking about Saturn's transit through PurvaBhadra, which is a difficult nakshatra, right? It's connected with penance, it's connected with sacrifice. So we'll be forced to be humble and patient. We'll just, that's... some remedies for PurvaBhadra can be not to set your ideals so high, perhaps, to be more practical at this time. Portion in Pisces, when eclipses take place, is a good time to connect with your guru, with higher teachings. Spiritual practice, spiritual pilgrimage, excellent during Saturn's transit into this nakshatra, actually. Yeah. If you do mantra puja or deity worship, then Shiva, of course, gets associated with this nakshatra. So any mantra for Shiva is excellent, like on Mondays especially, or you could fast on Mondays also. Remember, Dasha serves as the background and takes precedence. So if you are in the Jupiter Dasha, then this transit is very relevant because Jupiter is the controlling planet of PurvaBhadra. So, as usual, feel free to leave your comments. Do remember to like, share, subscribe. Thank you, folks. All the best. Cheers.